So we are Driveway Pit Stop. Oil changes anytime, anywhere. I'm Ben.
I'm Mason.
I have an automotive background from kind of self-taught skills. I've been restoring cars for about 10 years now, and that's provided me with a really good understanding of the automotive industry. And then I also have some startup experience in consulting with small businesses.
Okay, like Ben, I also have a small automotive background. I've been changing my own oil and working on my own car for the last 3 years due to the long wait times that come with oil changing and the experience of going in. I also have a plentiful amount of experience with small businesses, with consulting small and struggling businesses.
One of our advisors is Paul Warner. He is the director for the Center of Entrepreneurship here at Washington State University. He has vast entrepreneurial and founder experience. He has been a part of several startups, including multiple marketing analytics companies. So he's been able to provide some pretty invaluable insight on marketing techniques for us.
Yeah, and then our next advisor is Chris Cooney. He has experience with working at Google Consulting for marketing consulting, and then for technical knowledge, he's currently a professor at WSU, and he teaches multiple courses in like web page design and app design.
And we also have a financial advisor named Ben, who's not listed on here. He's employed at Gehring and Farwood nearby here, and he's been able to help us create our financial documents. So the problem, getting an oil change is fairly inconvenient, and it shouldn't be. It usually turns into a schedule disrupting chore, involving driving to the mechanic, waiting for them to take your car in, waiting for them to do the appointment, and also entrusting strangers to work on your car. So we did some surveying here in Washington, and we found out that 8 out of 10 people take their car in to a mechanic or the dealership or a Jiffy Lube center for an oil change. However, 6 out of those 8 say that the worst part is the inconvenience of driving to and waiting for the oil change. And we found out that on average, people are waiting 46 minutes plus for their oil to get changed once they're there at the shop, even when they have an appointment. So our goal is just to simply make the oil changing process easier and more convenient.
Okay, so our mobile oil changing service provides convenience to busy vehicle owners who want to keep their car well maintained without disrupting their schedule by eliminating the need for trips to the mechanic and long wait times, providing professional, hassle-free, and timely service directly to their location, unlike traditional mechanic shops that require appointments and extended wait times. Okay, so for market opportunity, we are going to be based out of Bellevue, Washington, due to the high average household income. And a lot of these families have a lot of disposable income that they're willing to sort of exchange for the service and convenience, so they have more time. So to start off, for the total addressable market, the automotive industry offers $95.5 billion in the US. And then for the serviceable addressable market in Bellevue, Washington, it's $83.2 million with the average household income of $224,000. And then for our serviceable obtainable market, it's projected to be $832,000 to $4.16 million, but this is based on market penetration for our company.
So our competitive strategy. So as you can see here in this picture, Driveway Pit Stop will be using a mobile lift trailer, and this will be towed behind our service truck. And it has, as you can see, the lift on it. So when we arrive at the location for the appointment, we will get the keys of the customer's car, drive the car onto the lift, and jack it up, enabling us to change the oil a lot more efficiently and professionally. The trailer will include the trailer and the truck will include all the oil, all the filters, and all the tools necessary. Our direct competitor is Wrench Automotive, and they have an established area in Seattle, but they always require two different visits. An initial consultation visit to diagnose the problem with your car, as well as a following visit 2-3 days later, maybe even a week, to actually install those parts, whereas we will just do everything in the one visit. They're also very untrustworthy and unprofessional. They contract their mechanics out, sort of like Uber or DoorDash. So you never know what mechanic you're going to get or who's going to be showing up in their truck, their van, their pickup truck, and rolling around in your driveway, leaving dirty rags or tools laying around. Our indirect competitor is Jiffy Lube. And whenever you use their company, you're always going to face lots of uncertainty. So you never know how long you're going to have to wait for your oil change. You don't know who is going to be working on your car, whether they're doing the right repairs, whether they're rummaging through your personal belongings. And then there's also the location. So you're going to have to drive and possibly face traffic on your way there, taking even more time out of your day. So some of the benefits of using Driveway Pit Stop is we offer multiple services while we are there doing the oil change. We always offer an included complimentary tire pressure check. So if any of your tires are low on air pressure, we will fill those up for you. And then we also offer an additional tire rotation and engine diagnostic while we're there with your car on the lift. We also are environmentally friendly. Our trailer has a built-in oil capture system, so that'll ensure that no oil gets down in your driveway, that might happen with Wrench. We also offer a contactless option, so you can see we have little key lock boxes there. And so you leave your key there, and when we arrive on scene, we'll be able to take your key out, do what we need to do, and put it back. Then we also have trustworthy mechanics. We are always going to focus on giving the customer the same mechanic every time so that they'll be able to build up a relationship and gain that trust for their mechanic. Looking ahead, so within 5 years, we have some goals. One goal is to eventually purchase another truck and a trailer to expand our serviceable area and start helping serving more customers. We also want to upgrade to a storage facility, to store the trucks, trailers, and oil. We also really want to take this business to business. This could be servicing fleet vehicles such as, USPS mail trucks or other delivery services. And also start having pop-up shops, partnering with HOAs, gyms, daycares, country clubs, and other businesses to have a day where we set up the trailer and complete oil changes all day long for the customers or patrons of that business for a discounted rate. And we're using Square for our POS right now, but we'd really like to upgrade to House Call Pro down the line so that we can have GPS on all of our mechanics.
Okay, so going to market. First off, we have our brand recognition. We will be displaying our company logo, QR code, and phone number on every truck and trailer. And then next, we will be doing door-to-door sales tactics. This is to expand our customer base and this, kind of get settled in our local area with new customers. And then for social media, we will be doing targeted social media ads, and we will have our own company social media page. As you can see here on the visual, this is SB Mowing, a very popular TikTok page that has grown a lot of traction. It's a man who films his work process of mowing lawns and time lapses everything, and also shows customer interaction. We will be doing sort of the same thing, time lapsing our work, filming customer interactions with consent. And then for refer a friend, kind of to set our credibility, we will be doing refer a friend discounts. Also doing discount, 5% discount for honest Google reviews.
5-minute warning.
Okay, for traction, we've already got mobile lift concepts coming from Corona, California for our trailer. And then for our oil wholesale supplier, we have Nelson Reisner based out of Arlington, Washington. And then for customer surveys, we've already conducted 50 customer surveys in the Seattle area to understand our target market. And then we have also launched our own company website.
So Driveway Pit Stop's revenue model. Our base service will be an oil change, which includes new oil and the filter. This will be $120, which is very comparable to an oil change at Jiffy Lube. We will be doing synthetic oil, and a synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube will run you $110. And for us, the oil and the filter per service will cost us $33.42. So you can see the profit margins on that. Additional services, like I mentioned, the tire rotation and engine diagnostic will each be an additional $10. And we really want to start offering more services down the line, such as other fluid changes and also cabin and engine air filters. The delivery charge will also go along with every appointment, and this will be $1.50 per mile fee. And this will just help account for time spent moving from appointment to appointment, as well as if we face any traffic. Discounts, Mason talked about the discounts a little bit, but we have the 20% refer a friend and 5% feedback review discount. And then we will never have a delivery charge if we ever show up late to an appointment. Our financial projections. So we have some pretty conservative assumptions that we based our financial projections off of. In year one, we're estimating 560 individual customers. And this will be starting at around 20 to 30 per month at the beginning of the year. And then at the end of the year, we'll be upwards towards 50 to 60. And so, what was that?
3-minute warning, sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah. So we're expecting a 50% customer retention for each appointment. And that'll be, customers coming back around every 6 to 8 months for an oil change. And then by year 5, we'll have hopefully around $487,000 in revenue, and that'll be roughly around a 50% increase year over year. And then our expenses throughout this first year, it's going to be mostly inventory and supplies, as well as paying off the loans for the truck and trailer that we're going to get that Mason will talk to you about in funding.
Okay, funding. So our initial investment is $140,000. This starts off with the bank loan that we are going to receive, apply for the truck and trailer. The truck we already found a truck that's $20,000. And the trailer will be, is a little bit under $60,000. And then we'll have $5,000 for insurance for the both of them. And then 20,000 will come from, or 40,000 actually will come from personal savings, 20,000 each, me and Ben, just from our savings. And then bootstrapping, we will be bootstrapping by operating out of my backyard at my house in Bellevue. I have a shop in the back that can be used for storing all our company resources. And then family contributions, 10,000 will come from each of our families as gifts. And then after 1 year, we may be looking for investors depending on how our margins are looking by then. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for listening. And then if you want to or have time, that'll take you to our company website.
Thank you very much. I'm going to open it up now to the judges Q&A, and that will be 10 minutes. Judges, do you have your questions?
The one question that I had, and I think it answered by the end, you used the word mechanics early and middle, and I was kind of a little bit confused on where the services began and ended, and like what would actually be possible. What do you and then you kind of answered your question, but out of the gate, what do you think your services will be, say in like year 1, year 2? How deep do you want to get in when you go do this?
Yeah. So, like within this first year, it's probably just going to be oil changes that come with the oil and the filter, as well as the tire pressure checks, the engine diagnostics, and the tire rotations. Those are small upcharges that customers will be likely to do since it's relatively cheap and we can do it while we're there. The engine diagnostic would just involve plugging in a computer to their car and running a little check while we're there. And then the tire rotation is easy to do while the car's up there on the lift.
Okay.
I was going to have I had a question about go to market and retention. You mentioned 50% retention. I think it was over the course of the first year. Have you guys explored apps at all? I know you mentioned your company website, but I just see maybe talk about that because I see a ton of opportunity there.
Yeah, so we definitely have been planning on like using like a booking app. So I think I barely mentioned it in the looking ahead, but House Call Pro is a service like a POS that has a built-in like booking application that we can use to, display on the truck, or to send to their email. But right now in the beginning to cut down on costs, we're just going to be using Square. And they offer pretty good booking appointments and applications like that as well. If that's what you're sort of getting at here.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about the current process now, right? Jiffy Lube. What's my retention with Jiffy Lube? It's that sticker that has to, I have to pay attention to in the corner of my windshield. I'm just thinking like, as you guys close out that transaction, you can say, hey, we need to see it. We'd love to see you again, or, your next scheduled time is in 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is. And then through that app, you could, through that app, you could, push notification to them, say, hey, your time's coming up. Does this time still work? Or here's, 10 other available times over the course of the same week.
Yeah, we're actually, we've been planning on, having this service. We didn't mention it, but it is either after the service is done or to send them, an email after the service is to ask them about, the year of their car, how many miles is on their car, and on average, how many miles they think they drive per year. So we can gauge the time frame for when they're going to be needing the next appointment. Because if it's a retired, grandma, she's only going to be driving down to the market, and she might only need an oil change every 2 years. But for someone that commutes every day, they might need one every 4 months. So if we can slightly gauge that, we can send them an email or notification earlier or later. But the standard would be, reaching back out in around 6 months and saying, hey, do you need this service? If not, we can email you back again in like 2 months.
Yeah. I think, there's a ton of opportunity. I mean, why do I go to Jiffy Lube? I don't know anything else. Right. And I know the sticker says Jiffy Lube, right? So that's my only loyalty to it. And I think you've got a huge opportunity for immediate loyalty because of the easy use, and being able to have that stickiness comes from being able to have them set up that account and be able to lock them in for the next one.
Yeah.
Great work though, guys.
I feel like it's kind of a flex too to have somebody pull up to your driveway and put your car on a lift and do your oil change right there. So I love the fact that you're taking advantage of your vehicle, having that capability to be some of that marketing for you. But one of the questions that I have is, with no brick and mortar location and all this reliability on your truck, what's your backup plan if that truck goes down, breaks down, and you've got 5-10 appointments that day that you got to get out to, and key just doesn't start the engine?
Yeah. So if that doesn't work, there's enterprise and also just truck rentals, because our trailer is a pretty standard trailer that'll fit on most like truck rentals. And in that emergency case, it'll be so how we're going to be storing the oil is in these little 5-gallon kind of containers, almost like a little Gatorade spout, punch spout thing. You fill up your little quart jug and take it over to the car. And so we'd fill that up in the morning, but we just put it onto the rental truck that we're using. And this trailer will be able to hook up to any rental truck that we use. And then even if the car's on the trailer, it has stabilizers, so it's not putting all that weight directly onto the truck that may be right at the limit of its capability.
Awesome. A quick follow-up question. Are you guys going to go after all different vehicle types and models? I guess kind of being in that area, you talked a little bit about the median household income, that being a little bit higher than what it is in a lot of other places. There's going to be a little bit more expensive vehicles. What does that risk look like for you? And are you going to be able to service all different types of vehicles?
Yeah, so these trailers, it's a 9 to 10,000 pound lift, and so that'll be able to service not heavy duty trucks like your 2500s and your 3500s, probably not, but all your F-150s and your Silverados, totally. And with the luxury cars, you know, people in Bellevue that are driving around Jags and Lexuses, you know, if you take it into the dealership, it's going to run you like $200 or $300, you know, and it's going to be there for the day. And so I think this could honestly be a really good idea for those luxury vehicle drivers, because just by choosing to drive that vehicle, they obviously want to, you know, promote an image and to, you know, have that, you know, extra comfort and, you know, convenience, I guess. And so I think this is something that they would like be especially interested in. So yeah.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
How are you going to address traffic? Like you mentioned the timeliness and that sort of thing. I mean, dude, you're in Bellevue, the 405. That's rugged, man. Like, I'm like the slide deck, like phenomenal presentation. Like it looks great. Like I think your problem is actually going to go pretty quickly to logistics. Like I think this is going to work. And I'm like, okay. I'm envisioning you stuck on the 405. I'm going to Seattle in like an hour, like literally. And I'm so glad I don't have to be on the 405. I'm just going to Mercer Island. Have you thought about plans of planning out your appointments and dealing with traffic and expectations on traffic? Like, how have you addressed that?
Yeah, so it won't take us longer than a half an hour at in a specific location. You know, oil, you can, and that'll especially help being a sort of delivery service, is that these cars, you know, will have a higher chance of not being turned on and running. So the oil won't be hot and dripping down, burning you like it will at Jiffy Lube. So it'll be a little bit quicker. And so we were kind of thinking that, you know, half-hour oil change, half hour to get to the next appointment, which, yes, we're, I guess we did say like greater Bellevue area, but, you know, that's going to be about like, you know, 20 miles any direction, you know, from our center location. So I think it's pretty reasonable for now. Yeah.
And I guess think about that. Like you don't have to go during peak. It's just they need their car serviced at some point that day, right? It's just kind of like a range. You're saying, hey, we'll get there. The car's going to be off. You'll have access to it. You know, does it matter when specifically, or just at some point during the day?
Yeah, we were for contactless, you know, that would definitely be a, you know, kind of like expect us between here and then. But especially if we're planning on having multiple services per day, you know, we estimate that, you know, like with the one truck, we could probably do, you know, maybe 4 to 6 in one day, if we're doing that for 8 hours. And so it would probably be more of a specific time. And so that's why we kind of had to bring in the, you know, the late fees to account for, you know, if there is an accident on the road or something like that.
Okay, we've got only a few seconds left. Is there a final question that you'd like to ask?
Quick question. Tell me, like, talk a little bit more about your differentiation. I kind of heard like it looked like you're similar price to other things. You talked about it being like a premium service. You talked about like trustworthiness. Like, what do you think's your like top differentiation compared to what's out there?
Definitely. I would say the convenience aspect, you know, because there's so much else that goes into taking your car into a Jiffy Lube. You have to drive to the nearest Jiffy Lube or the nearest mechanic shop. Where is that? What's the traffic going to be? Then even if you make an appointment, how long are you going to wait? How long are you going to wait? You never know. Is it a Saturday on your only day off that you have to do this with, 20 other people lined up to do the same thing? And so just the time saving convenience of being able to stay in your own home, or be out doing whatever you want to do and have us come in and do that contactless option.
Yeah. Also, we have researched Jiffy Lube's prices, and our prices do like align a lot with theirs. I think our oil change for the synthetic is like $10 more, but delivery fee aside, the prices are very similar. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much, Driveway Pit Stop. We will release you now, and the judges will make their scores.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.